Happy Tuesday, everybody. This is your girl, Crystal Jordan, and this is another reality check. Now, of course, we do reality checks on Mondays at 2 p.m. and on Fridays, but since this Friday is Memorial Day weekend, I want to do something in the middle of the week that was really inspirational. So I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy my next guest. He is one of the stars of Tyler Perry's Bruh. Even though he is so much more, he's an actor, model, motivational coach, and I know that he's going to give us a great inspirational word for today. Please help me welcome my guest, Monti Washington.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Hey, how are you?
Living the dream, avoiding the lie. That's it.
That's all we can do. Where are you right now? What city? Where are you at?
I'm in LA, Los Angeles, West
Okay.
Hollywood area. So,
Okay.
over here, nice and cozy with relatively nice weather out.
Okay. Are you still quarantined? Have you started to get back out yet?
A little bit for the most part. I try to leave the house as little as possible. Every now and again in the morning, I'll do my little walk around the neighborhood before everybody gets up to kind of just get a little bit of nature. And then if I need to go to the store, but other than that, I try to keep it inside, just chill, take advantage because I'll never be grounded with the rest of the world again.
Yeah, that's true. It's like an experience that, because everybody is going through it at the same time, it's just so it's different than what most of us have ever, probably anyone alive now has ever experienced. But,
Absolutely.
I was excited about interviewing you because your story is amazing. And I think that people really need to hear inspiration right now more than ever, because not only are we dealing with the virus and, people possibly getting sick and losing loved ones, but people's financial state and just the uncertainty of what's ahead.
Absolutely.
So it makes people get frightened. So I posted that you were going to be on, and instead of the motivational questions, most of the questions from the ladies in my DM were you single?
No,
questions were about your status, Monty. So before we even get into all the other stuff, before we get into Bruh, what's the status?
Sorry, I am off the market.
You're off the market.
I am in a happy, healthy relationship.
That's awesome.
That's all I'll say about that. I keep my relationship private, and I just let people know I'm off the market. I'm happy. It's a healthy relationship, and I'm grateful for it.
That's what's up. Well, congratulations. Yeah. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? As opposed to getting disappointed, we can know that there are some good guys out there that do respect their relationship, right?
Oh no, there's a few. What ladies gotta realize is a lot of those nice guys are the guys that turn out to be like me, who got their ish together and are more than that. But a lot of, if I may for a second, a lot of women out there are so used to dealing with bums that when they do come across the dude that is treating them the way that they feel they want to be treated, because it's not wrapped in the package they wanted it to be, they can miss out on that. So dudes, and we'll get into my character Bill, he's a prime example, kind of like missing your blessing a little bit. A lot of ladies too, y'all get a good dude and y'all want to friend zone him, and then y'all want to mess with the, I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss. So
say it, Mark.
Y'all like messing with the fuck boys. Let's keep it 100. and you try to turn them good, and you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of good dudes out there. Just, they may not come in the package you expect, but we date at our self-esteem level. So a lot of women, I've been before I kind of stepped into who I am. I was a nice guy. Now I was a handsome dude and all that stuff, but like I was a nice dude. Yeah, but I was a really nice dude just because of growing up with women who I saw get abused, and my mother getting beat by boyfriends and stuff. So my respect for women was like, I came at such a subtle way. And when you're 6'3", rugged looking dude, and you come with that, they're like, oh, you soft, you're a little too, you're not what I expected you to be. So, I got some, I'm sure I got some exes floating around out there that's mad right now, but that's neither here nor there.
That's true. But you know what? That's true. And I want to ask you a question about that. Because we were talking yesterday about, in the morning, my question of the day was like, women, do we acknowledge how important our friendships are with women? And we're talking about how men can't really always show that vulnerability because, especially in the African American community, there's this idea of a definition of masculinity that is really toxic. You know, it's very toxic. So, talk a little bit about that. Sometimes women don't know even how to receive vulnerability from a man, right? And then when the woman doesn't know how to receive it and he sees that's not there, he doesn't feel safe sharing it. So, how do you feel we can change that?
Well, first off, one thing I want to do is to separate this, and it's for the general society and how they view masculinity, especially in this kind of gender fluid world we're starting to be in.
Very true.
And also men. So in society, like right now, one thing that pisses me off is the fact that they equate masculinity to toxicity. That's not the case. Like I'm an alpha. I'm a man's man, and I live by that. But I am vulnerable. You will catch me watching The Voice and somebody singing, and I'm tearing up. Like I ain't got no shame. Like when I'm a dad, I'm gonna be that dad crying all the times that the kids get. Like that's just me, right? That doesn't make me any less of a man. But I am a man's man, and I own that. And so I think it's important that people have to do that. And also for men, any men who might be listening to this, it's important to understand, like, so there's many definitions of what it means to be a man. Now, I'm talking about a traditional sense. Let's put gender, sexuality, sexual preference out of the way. Just typical man, right? Cisgendered old school man.
Oh, wow.
I got
all of that now. I know.
I lecture at universities, and I'm like, okay, you gotta clear the room first. But my definition of a man is someone who starts to live for something greater than themselves and is able to openly give and receive love without being ashamed of it. So that's what it is. Like I'll kick it with my boys. We'll talk shit to each other. I'll be sipping on some whiskey. We be doing all that stuff. But you bet in a heartbeat, I can have a deep conversation with my lady, or I can keep it real with my brothers. Like, yo, man, I'm feeling really weak right now. And there's strength in that. I think that's the biggest thing. Anybody can mask that. It's such a, forgive me. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. It's just, I just, I don't want no play. I think it's such a weakness and it's cowardice for both men and women to always use that defensive mechanism to mask how they truly feel. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't express that to your friends, to your loved ones, to your significant other, then you got some issues you got to work out. So masculinity and toxicity are two different things. And I think it's
synonymous,
right. And I think it's the same thing with femininity. You know what I'm saying? Both men and females. Like I realized I was a bit, and without going into the toxic part, I was a bit too soft sometimes. I'm a big believer in roles, particularly in relationships, whether that's platonic or intimate. I like that because I can identify as a man. Like as women, y'all can multitask. Like women, like seriously, women, and especially Black women. And in this culture, how there's so many single parent homes. So as women, and particularly Black women, y'all forced to play both roles because that's what you grow up seeing.
Thank you for saying that, because I think so often we women get blamed with you're being too strong and you're being too independent, But you got to realize, like you said, a lot of times that is the structure of the house you were raised in. And so if the woman is having to be the head of household, the nurturer and everything at once, it's very, she may not have been able to teach her daughter how to also be that softer side. So it's
true. Yeah, but I mean, just on that, just to kind of put a button on that, it's like I've struggled with women before like that. I was like, yo, like it's okay. Like if I say I got you, I got you. If anything I've learned is to be a man of my word. And like sometimes I overpromise and it forces me to overdeliver. But it's like I got to be a man of my word. So if you're my lady,
consistency with women, and I think men. I'm going to go back because one of the comments is from a guy, and I hear that from men so often that women go after the wrong guys, and I think that works on both sides, right? I think both sides could be attracted to what's not good for them, but
for the opposite reasons. We are so contradictory. So now I'm talking about, this is an overgeneralization.
Right.
but there's a lot of truth to it. So this doesn't apply to everybody. I know there's gonna be somebody in your comment, not me. Hush, this ain't to you then. All right?
It's like an overall general population.
General population, it's like dudes are like, oh, we want a woman that has our back and her this and that is a woman of substance and woo woo woo. But then we get a woman like that and we go for the woman who's just her physical makeup. She got the body, she got all that, and ain't bringing shit else to the table.
Absolutely.
Nothing else to the table but what she got. Then you got women that talk about, oh, I want a real man that's going to take care of me, that's going to respect me. And then you get somebody that's grinding and is willing to do that. But then you go ahead with the dude who got all the materialistic stuff.
Swag. It's the swag, and he acts a certain way. One of the things I wanted to ask you when I saw your bio is, I'm sure that the women, like today, you know, I posted your picture and girls are coming like, you know, if they saw you maybe 10 years ago, do you think, like you said, you have some exes that probably are like kicking themselves. Did women respond to you? Because I do think sometimes, I can admit, women want to see the entire package, right? It's hard to see, you know, potential, but then sometimes you do have women that are open to the potential, and then the man doesn't appreciate it. You know what I mean?
See,
so
there's one thing I learned with that. So in the past, any woman, like, you know, I'm clowning about, you know, some of the exes and stuff, but for the most part, like the man I am today, one thing I say about myself is I've never been the best at something starting off, but I learn and I don't make the same mistake twice. So like my growth as an individual, as a man of God, it increases every couple of years. I make a drastic step because my personal development, even before this call, you know, I was reading, I was writing, I was journaling, I was doing all these things to prepare myself, and I do that daily. So I think in the past I was a different dude. So I mean, the physical makeup, always a nice looking dude, always has swag. I could charm the panties off somebody if I wanted to go that route. But I understand the women. There's a couple women I remember trying to talk to when I was still on the bus and doing a starving artist sleeping on couches, and they passed me up. And at the time, of course, you know, it's like sour grapes. But when I look back, I'm like, I'm not mad at you for that. Especially if you as a woman got your stuff together. I ain't mad at that at all. And what I've learned from that is you can't date potential, people. You can't date potential. The reason why my current relationship is successful, because I met somebody who didn't need me, wasn't looking for me. She had her stuff together financially, physically, spiritually. She was living her own life. And she saw that, okay, I'm on that same level. Like I'm on my ascent. And she's like, okay, I see what that is. And I realized dates are equal. Like if it's hard because it's a catch-22. Like it's good. Like, oh, I was there for you when you weren't. But it's important to be equal. It really is. Like you can't date potential, and it's cool to help somebody and maybe just be in the shadows, you know, peeking back. Oh, they got their ish together. Okay, not yet. Let me just you know.
But to get in there and to do it for them, I think that throws a dynamic off. And I think men have a hard time. And I'm sure people are going to be in the comments about this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think men, when a woman steps in, it almost emasculates him when she does too much for him, and it's hard for him to feel respected in that relationship. So,
I mean, that's definitely now. See that part now. This is what it is. That part bleeds into toxic masculinity. Like if you're a woman and you genuinely are trying to help your dude, and it's not to make him stay with you. It's just genuinely you're that kind of person, and you're that kind of partner. As a man, that's when you got to set that ego aside and be like, yo, okay, my lady got it. Like I'm in a partnership. So it's like, if she got it, I got it. If you got it, I got it. If I got it, you got it. And I think that's very important. So it's like, you have to be willing to take that help. Now, there's a difference between, you know what, you starting a business, let me side you a little something. So you know what, here goes the keys to my apartment, here goes my car keys, here goes this, you can sleep over. Oh, I'm going to work, honey, you say you sleep on the couch, get your ass up. Like,
that doesn't ever come without strings. There's strings attached. She's doing that for a reason. She is building a man. But okay, let me dial back.
We can do a lot.
We gotta dial back, but I think this is the kind of conversations that we need to be having. And I'm hoping.
Absolutely.
I saw, I've watched, Bruh, and just being excited about seeing a show that shows the men's perspective. That is it's going. Yeah, like Girlfriends was hands down my favorite show, and the reason.
No doubt.
because we could connect. I know all those characters. I've been all those characters at one time. But I think with our community, it's really important for us to also show men's perspectives as opposed to telling them what their perspectives are. So talk to us about bruh and how you guys are gonna change it up with this show.
Bruh, you know what bruh is special because also if you look at Tyler Perry's past work, he has very strong elderly and female voices in a lot of his stuff. It's the dominant. Let's keep it real. It's the dominant voice in almost all his work, from the plays to the TV to the movies. And the dudes, they're in there, but I feel like with us, he kind of let us out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the dudes that I've looked at in a lot of his stuff is like, I'm in the middle of that. It's like, yeah, I'm a man's man, but I'm not as toxic as this dude might be portrayed. Like the closest thing is Daddy's Girls with Idris. Like that's the best for me.
Okay.
That's the best portrayal of a man, because like that's a man's man. He's doing whatever he got to do for his daughter, and it showed, which is rare, that the woman was the mess up. All the time it's the dude. So to kind of show that was like, for me, that was like, yo, because that's exactly what I would do in that situation. Like my mother was a drug addict, and I saw what that was like. And if my baby mama, that was that situation, I would be just like that. So I love that. So to bring a little bit of that to bruh, just to amplify Black male voices is so important, because I literally looked. I really hope somebody, please somebody prove me wrong. I cannot remember a show with a group of dudes. It's our perspective on our life. There's movies, The Best Man, The Wood, Brothers. There's a lot of movies, but in the show space, I Googled top 50 Black shows, and none of it came up.
There was a show back in like 90s, late 90s, called Between Brothers. It had Kadeem Hardison, great actor, Kadeem Hardison and Dondre Whitfield. Very short stint on Fox, but it was so comedy driven, you didn't get a chance to really get to know them, right? Because in that period of time, you know, we would be brought on television to be funny, but we didn't really get a chance to see the real, you know, what we're dealing with, the depth. So we get to touch on that. We get to touch on that. And the thing about bruh is like, you get 4 different types. Like my character, you know, if we're breaking down archetypes, like you got Mike, you got the player, the successful dude. We got him in there.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, it's real. Like, and a lot of dudes, especially if you're handsome and successful, you've stepped into that role once or twice. Like when I've been single, you know, I've had Mike in me, and you got my man Tom, who is that voice of reason. He's kind of like the foundation for it. And you got John. He's like the, for lack of better words, the lovable loser, but the dude that's grinding and wants to do whatever. And then you got like my situation, which is like one you don't get to see a lot, where it's like, okay, this man is trying to get this woman back hard. Like a lot of women right now with Bill, I'm getting a lot of stuff. I go on Twitter, I'm getting eaten up because every woman has had that situation where you've given your all in a relationship. Dude didn't see your value. And then once you get yourself, then once you see yourself good, it's like, now you want it. And there's 2 things.
We were going to get to that, because I have that conversation with my girlfriends all the time. It's almost like some men, let me not generalize, guys. Some men don't see the value in a woman until he has broken her heart so badly, right? And then he wakes up. It's like all of a sudden, when she's done, he wakes up and realizes, oh my God, I love her, and now he wants it back. And then she's done the work to get over it. Like this happens all the time.
And that's, I already know. And this is the thing. Like when you got all those 4 different perspectives in all of our situations, and just in the show to show that brotherhood. Obviously, if you're Black, you should be able to relate. But I like the fact that it extends outside of that, because I got some of my friends who aren't people of color, like, yo, my boy is just like such and such. And I'm like, yo, it's a good depiction. And what Tyler Perry allowed us to do a lot of, because he works at such a rapid and effective rate, he allowed us, he allowed us to bring ourselves and our experiences into it. So there's a lot of organic moments in the show where you're watching like, yo, where'd that come from? That came from the moment. Because all the bros in real life, we're actually really close friends. We be texting each other and all that stuff. And so it's just good to see that, because you don't get that voice in a non-stereotypical over hyper masculine way.
You
You
don't,
know?
and I'll say this, you can't say it because you work for Tyler Perry. I don't, so I can say it. A lot of people have criticized him because we haven't seen a positive male. We don't see a lot of positive male role models in his television shows and the movies. We usually see a very strong woman who was a victim for a while, and then she overcomes. And so I've even heard men say that they can't support Tyler Perry because men are not seen as, you know, that there's a monolith there with men that is usually I mean, Diary of a Mad Black Woman is constantly a horrible guy. Either it's a horrible guy who is taking advantage of the situation and being horrible, and then a savior comes out of the blue. It's like two extremes, right?
No, 100%, and I get that, and that's a fair criticism of the extremes and whatnot. Which is the great thing about us is to have the 4 different dudes. You get a little bit of all that. It's perfect you said that because we're the in between. Because you get a little bit of all that. Because in real life, and I'm not just saying this, all 4 of the dudes were all really good dudes. Like I've worked with a lot of cats who are, I'm like, you are exactly what you appear to be. You know, I'm just keeping it real. But with the brothers, like we're actually good dudes. One of us is married, 2 of us in a relationship. The other one's like just this, don't drink, don't smoke. So you get real, I hate to use this word, but like it's a vibe between swagged out and wholesome. You know what I'm saying?
That's the good vibe that women need to be on. Like,
no, 100%.
But you really want somebody that's mentally and emotionally mature, right?
And ready. And with Bill's situation, and I'm gonna defend Bill to the day I die. So this is my theory. I'm gonna give you my 30-second theory on why men do this.
Okay.
All right, and tell me if you agree, because you keep it real. So let's see if you agree. Okay. All right. So I think generally speaking, women are more open to the idea of being vulnerable and being in an exclusive relationship for whatever reason. I think you're more, and because of that, you're more apt to be in a longer term relationship. Okay. Men were not, whether it's societal, whether it's the way we're raised, like it takes a special woman to get a man's attention. I think there's a handful of dudes that if they just don't mess it up, they can get your heart. No, I'm just saying that, like, because women, you're open, like it's like, okay, you check this box, you check this box, like, oh wow, okay, you good, let's see where it goes. And if we don't screw it up, then it's a good thing. Right. There's some women, I've dated some women who are dope as hell, but I'm like, you're not the one. Yeah. And it's just nothing you can do to bear that. And I think with dudes, we never look for the one. We get hit upside the head with the one. And oftentimes that realization comes after the fact because we're so used to not looking. Like, so we're just so used to just, okay, if I'm going to be in a relationship, I'm going to see where this goes. This don't work out. All right, cool. I'm going to go play the field for a little bit. All right, you seem cool. I like you more than the rest. I'm going to get in a relationship. And it's not until after the fact for a lot. And, you know, you're like, yo, damn, that was the one. That really was a special one.
Is he present in the relationship? Because that's what I wonder. Because for him to have the realization after heartbreak comes for him, because that's what it feels like. She takes herself away from him. I've interviewed Waka Flocka and Tammy. I'm going to use them because they've come on and interviewed. And Waka's very open about his feelings, which I love about him. That's dope. The time that she said, you know what, I'm not taking this anymore, I'm out. He was like, oh, I can't do without her. But he wasn't in that mindset until she took her presence away from him. Then the hurt that he felt caused him to realize. So do you think that men are present in that relationship before the hurt comes for them?
I'm not going to give my storyline away, but you're gonna get a couple things. You're gonna see how Bill broke up with Regina, which was kind of jacked up. You're gonna see, and then you're gonna hear the reason why. Okay. And a lot of women are dismissive when a man tries to explain that because y'all just cut it off. You messed up. Point blank. No, I'm hurt. It don't matter. So it's just like, and there's no excuse to like do what you do, especially if it's in a shady way. Like me, I'm in a situation where I have in the past, I dated a woman that was much more mature than me. And, you know, I found out later she wasn't going to be the one, but I was too immature to handle a grown woman at the time, even though I thought I was, you know. I'm like, oh, but I was able to step back and at least be like, yo, I ain't ready for this. Like your expectations, and I'm not ready. I'm just not in that space to handle the weight of that. That's how I would do it in real life. I would just come straight forward and keep it 100 with you. But I mean, ain't no drama in that. That's not good. That's not good for TV.
Right. And that's really not realistic, because I don't think that very few people are mature enough on either side to do that. So definitely, you guys got to tune in to Bruh. It's great. I want to stop right now and kind of go back, because your story, I said, is amazing, and I want you for you to have to be at this level of awareness right now, and to even be able to share this type of conversation, to come from where you came from. You mentioned that your mother was a drug addict. I can say my father was a drug addict, and so coming from a different perspective, that left me with a lot of baggage, just about expectations from men. So how are you able to get from the young, Monti, dealing with all that, to overcome, to get to where you are now?
It's a process. Progress is a process. There's no, the movies in Hollywood like to make you think that there's a pivotal moment in the character's life and it just changes everything. No, there's a set of moments at certain stages in your life. And I remember just having a mother who was a prostitute and was on drugs, and I slept in crack houses and parks and 12 different group homes over the course of a few years, and abused in foster homes to where I was suicidal and had to get therapy, and just every horrible stereotypical thing that can happen. And as I slowly stopped blaming my mom for what had happened, and I sought help, therapy, counseling, I was able to be open, and then I found constructive outlets. With basketball, that was my first love. I was a hooper. I got a college scholarship. Poetry, writing, acting, performing. I found a way to channel all of this aggression and pain and baggage. And then you got to dump it. The thing about emotions is they never go away. You push them down, but they're always there. And I realized, now I was never hitting women, but my perspective of women, when I look at you, I see my equal, nothing less, nothing more. Before, there's no way. I hated having female bosses. I hated it. I hated taking orders because my mother abandoned me, and two of my foster moms physically abused me. So it's just like my perception of women, it wasn't just dogging women. You know what I'm saying? Because I still had that
resentment. There was a resentment there that
100%.
Yeah, that a lot of people, I think, carry around and don't realize it, right? So
God, yes.
So do you think that therapy, for you, I guess, finding basketball, and even still, that is it's still a testament to the person that you always have been, because a lot of people can go through pain that way and just are not able to channel it, in a positive way. So I want to ask you, how were you able to kind of redefine your relationship with women, and did you make peace with your mother, what she was able to do?
So the first thing is you have to identify it. And I don't ask how, I don't know who pointed this out. What that means is a couple of people pointed it out, and I dismissed it at the time. That's all that means. But women got daddy issues, but dudes got mommy issues, and we got to accept that.
Absolutely.
And I had a lot. One of my foster mothers physically abused me and hospitalized me. The other one locked me in a room for 23 hours a day for several months. So I was all messed up, right? And when you come to a breaking point in your life, if you have the self-awareness to self-assess and be like, what's going on? I'm like, what is this pattern? There's a pattern in everything you do. There's a set of behaviors that you keep repeating, because I keep getting to this point, and then I go back. I keep getting to this point. What do I need to break through? And the biggest thing was first the realization that, yes, I don't beat on women. And yes, when I'm in a relationship, I'm loyal. When I'm ripping and running, unfortunately, I'm doing dumb stuff, but I'm a loyal dude. But I'm like, on the outside, you pretend like you respect women, but deep down inside, you got resentment. Then a few years ago, I got a book called From the Streets to the Stage. And when I was writing my book, I was like, who am I going to dedicate it to? And I dedicated it to my biological mom, because I'm like, all the pain and suffering I endured was for a purpose. It was for a greater purpose. And this is what it was for. And I went to my biological sister, which we don't have a good relationship because she's living a life I don't approve of. And my mother was there. And I ain't seen my mother in 12 years. And it was just all of that. And I was good because I got a surrogate mother that is taking that role, and I love her. She's amazing. But all that came up, and I had to go away. I left the country for a couple of weeks. I pulled a Dave Chappelle. I just I just like had to,
yeah,
I had to. But then when I got back, I was like, you know what? I had to I had to go. I had to dump it all out. I was like, yo, people who do you wrong, oftentimes, they're not even aware of the hurt, the trauma they inflict on you. Because oftentimes, hurt people.
Yeah.
So they're not aware. And one of the things that pisses people off is when you confront someone and they act like they don't know what they did.
Yeah.
And that happened with my biological mom.
Yeah.
Hey, my family called me Cheech. That was my nickname. Hey, Cheech. And I'm like, yo, why are you acting like everything is gravy?
Yeah.
And I had this moment where I just dumped it on her. I'm talking about, I'm crying like Viola Davis smacked. I mean, it ain't no thug tears. It's just like weeping.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just let it go. And after I just cussed her out and berated her, I was like, but I forgive you.
Yeah.
And that was like my point of forgiving. And it's just been a slow progression. Like, we keep in contact. I don't reach out to her, but out of respect, because she is clean currently. I'm like, okay, I know you have so many demons and all the stuff. Like, I can only imagine what addiction is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you enough so that you don't think I hate you. We're not buddy, because I got another mom who's taking that place.
Yeah.
But for your peace of mind and for your spirit, I want you to know, despite everything you went through, you have a massively successful son.
And for your peace of mind to have that, to have gone that, and I think that's, I will say to you, and I don't usually do this, but I just want to be candid, because it's I think this is a powerful conversation. My father overdosed, so I never got a chance to have that closure, right? So being able to make that peace is more valuable than you will know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
I
had to the point where I realized he did the best that he could. He was running from demons that I can't even imagine, but I had to forgive him without him being able to receive it. So you're blessed to have been able to have that difference, It's
empathy. It's so empathy.
Last question. I've talked to so many men and interviewing people, and it's amazing what people will tell you when you're listening, right? So many men have dealt with abuse. We've listened to men, and Tyler Perry's been a big part of kind of opening this conversation on men being sexually abused and physically abused when they were younger and they didn't have a voice. One of the consistent themes that I hear from men is that there's no place for them once they're grown. You're 35. 45,
oh man.
That little boy that was abused. There's not really a place in society for victims that are boys. We say we want to protect our girls. We've made a big stink, and I'm glad R. Kelly's where he is. But we see women as victims. We don't always see little boys as victims.
Yeah.
So how do you speak to that? Because that causes men to walk around a lot of pain and not feel comfortable even sharing that.
Yeah, I think it's rewriting the story what a man is. You know what I'm saying? And it starts with that. Like, I love this idea of having a space where men can talk about that, because I really don't know where that space is for men who've been sexually abused. There's organizations, there's clubs for women, there's so much. But I think having conversations like these, first and foremost, and having, we do need to create a safe space.
Yeah, no judgment.
For men to talk about that, because that feeds into the toxic masculinity. Like, I was abused. I was touched, and this, that, and the third. And it's like, that needs to be created. And I think there needs to be narratives that kind of focus on that. And don't be surprised if in the next year and a half you see something based off this conversation that's going to push that conversation forward. And I think it's just being open, like, that holding on to that pain does nothing for you. It does nothing. When I let go of that pain, when I stopped blaming people, when I truly forgave my mother, my light is so bright. I walk so light. Like what you see is what you get. Like, unless I'm hungry and haven't slept, I am a pleasant ass person, because I relinquished all of that. You know what I mean? And so it's been like, let that shit go. Like, start saying, it's not my fault. It's okay. I got to let that go. If you got to pay for some counseling or therapy just to get it off your chest, be open with your close friends. Like, my close friends know some stuff. I haven't gone through anything sexually like that. Somebody tried something one time, and luckily I was big enough to stop it. You know what I'm saying?
But even that emotional, that's mental abuse for that type of that does so much. So I hope that men will hear this conversation and realize they can find a space to let that go. You know what I mean? But I think as a woman, I could say as a Black woman, my heart breaks for men because we haven't realized that they need that, you know, and that's not because we don't love them. I think that we just haven't, as you know, there's so much pain on both sides. We don't understand, see that there's a need for it, you know?
There's such a, if we can just be brave enough to have what I call a courageous conversation with each other, to be completely honest and open. And it starts with you. Let's say if me and you were in a relationship, it starts with you. If I was sexually abused as a boy or whatever, it's like you suspect that or something, because that happened to a girl I was dating. She ghosted me. First time I've been ghosted ever. And I was like, what the? I'm like, this is what it feels like. I was shook it.
We are often women are shook.
And come to realize she was a sister, but she never dated brothers. I was the first one she ever dated. And the reason why is because later down the road, her stepdad, who was a brother, sexually abused her. So that association with Black men was such a negative. So once we started getting close and really getting deep with the relationship, she just couldn't handle it. So I think it's important to create that space. So if you're a woman and you suspect anything like that in any way, like watch the triggers, like watch the triggers. Like my lady knows, like, don't talk to me about food. Like don't talk to me about food. It seems like I'm wasting money. I grew up eating out of trash cans. So if I want to go spend extra money, $50 on a damn burrito, like let me do it. You know what I'm saying?
And that's a small thing that can create a huge argument that has a root in something that's not have nothing to do with you and the woman that you're with. Totally different.
Pay attention to the triggers, and as the opposite in the relationship, be open to create that space slowly so that you can get to the root of it and not being judgmental by it. Like if you see somebody snap off of something a little bit, it goes deeper. Like my lady, like I'm a clean dude. I'm messy. I'm not organized. And my lady is a neat freak. She's a neat freak. And that's just because of where she comes from. But for me, I had to like, oh snaps, okay, I can't get mad because I'm thinking back to foster mother berating me for not cleaning and stuff. And it's like, it goes deeper. So we have to create a space for one another to open that. And we all bring baggage into the relationship.
Everybody.
Don't just dump it on people. Try to communicate and let know, I got some shit in here that needs to come out. And it may not come out in the most constructive way, but I just want to give you a peek so we can slowly work on this during the duration of the relationship.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for such a candid conversation. You got it. This has been amazing. Tell people first, how can we get your book? And then, of course, let us know how we can see Bruh and everything else that you've done.
Okay. All right. Let's do the plugs. We got the substance out the way. Let's do the business. First off, you can get my book, From the Streets to the Stage. It's on Amazon. That's my first book. I'm in the process of writing my second one. I'm hoping it's out by the end of this year, but I've been blessed with a lot of roles. I'm working on stuff. So I got that. Thank you. So just type in Monti Washington, Monti with an I. You can follow me on social media. My actor page is Monti_Washington. My motivational speaking page is Montivation, M-O-N-T-I-vation. You get it. Motivation, Montivation. And yo, watch Bruh on BET Plus. Now let me tell y'all, and I'm not just saying this because I would shut up because I hate to lie. It gets better. It progressively gets better, not only because the actors got used to working with Tyler and the way in which he works, and it opened us up to be our true selves, but because of the story progresses. Right now we're on episode 5. We're about to be on episode 5, and it's just now heating up.
And you guys have 24 episodes, right?
Yeah. We're gonna be going for a minute.
I love that. Yes. You can get in with some. It's good meat there. You can settle in with it. It's not like
it's so good. Yeah, and all the characters we bring, all the bros as actors and as men, we bring such a depth and an honesty to the work that I think people be able to understand it and relate to it. You may not like the actions of all of it, but we're going to provide some insight onto why these people and these guys act the way they do. And ladies, you got questions about dudes, watch the show. We really get a peek. Get a peek. It's some real stuff.
We need a peek. Speaking on behalf of the ladies, we need a peek, but I think this conversation is a great peek. I'm going to share this with quite a few of my girlfriends. Again, thank you, Monti, so much.
Thank you so much.
For your candor and your example. Keep doing what you do. We definitely want to support you here at Rolling Out. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys got as much from this conversation as I did. Like, good conversation just makes you feel full. So I'm
It does.
so thankful for this. We wish you much success, Monti.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. And I'll leave y'all with this. Can I give y'all 2 little motivational nuggets real quick?
Please,
All right.
absolutely.
Anybody out there that is going after a dream and that is striving for something, especially in the entertainment business, understand perseverance is a cheat code for life. It may not happen when you want it, but it will happen. And lastly, this is for anybody. Take up as much space as your existence will allow. Stop playing small. Stop lowering your voice so others can be heard. Take up as much space as your existence will allow, and your life will change for the better. Thank y'all.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you, Monti.
Have a good one.
Coming in. We'll see you next week on Reality Check. This has been your host, Crystal Jordan. I love you guys. Stay safe.